there's people who are excited. They're like, oh, I am so fascinated by murals, but Jose is the first and only one that I know. So I would love to get Jose's playlist. And I call it a playlist, but it has nothing to do with music. It's just 5 people, places, things, books, movements that inspired you that you would love to share forward to our audience. So what are 5 things that this
There's,
episode can't end without you sharing
well,
about them?
there's a group of artists that were Italian, Arte Provera, which means poor art. And the thing about it that when I first heard about it was really interesting is that they took whatever was available. They didn't, sometimes you stop and think, oh, I don't have the right brush, I don't have the right color. That wasn't their aesthetic at all. This, well, here's what I got, here's what I do. So I like that sentiment, sentiment that you don't wait for the proper materials, right? Um, as far as like inspiration, the favorite thing for me to do is when I get stopped at a train tracks and the trains are coming by, and finally those cabooses come by that have graffiti on them. I love to watch those things. I mean, and it's funny because for a while there, there was a dearth of them. You really couldn't see it. So it's like if I get stopped at a train thing, I'm just like looking to turn away. But now I'm like, maybe I'll see some good trains, and there's some really nice ones. So I love that idea of the graffiti. Um, Also, I went years ago. I was in Italy and saw some of the stuff out there. We always think they're inside, but there's some that were painted outside. Some of the places, and it's like really beautiful. They've held up like what 400, 500 years later.
Wow.
But the way that they look is this kind of the image is there. It's almost like a ghost image in places. But that's really beautiful to me too. And then the other thing I used to like before I even started painting murals is when you see the old brick walls, right? And you can see that they have what the signage was back in like turn of the century, back, and you can see the bleeding going through it, and it's just like a cipher, So it's really kind of interesting. So the walls have always appealed to me, and then I just love the idea of something big, something big. I remember the Nelson had many years ago. They had the Monet's the lilies, water lilies, right? They had all 3 of them here, which is an awesome thing to see because I think they have one, but I think they brought all 3 together, and it was really awesome to see on that scale, right? So scale is a nice thing. I like that scale.